what was your inspiration for the Combatron card game?
You mean aside from Combatron?
Well, yeah.
Metallica.
Hindi kasi, when we heard about the Combatron card game, just to give you a little bit of an insight, when we were in ASGS, we also met up with a couple of guys from Randy the Games. We're gonna be talking to them on the next episode. Just a little bit of plugging.
Hello, Randy the Games.
And they are working on another piece of the Combatron legacy, and they're going to develop a video game for Combatron. So, and then we learned about the card game first.
Yes.
So I said, oh, okay, there's gonna be a card game. So when we bought the box, and of course I did an unboxing at home.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming out next month. I saw that there are character cards. So it's a combat-based mechanic.
Yep.
And you base your. So I'm gonna show off my card playing skills to the creator, of course.
Yeah.
So you have character cards, and you're gonna power up the combatants, and they're gonna trump each other and see it's battle arenas type of match. I wouldn't say from a player perspective, I wouldn't say that it's the first time I've seen a hero-based combat.
True.
But I like the idea. What was your inspiration in terms of three things? Your design, the gameplay design, the gameplay mechanic, and what made you go through that?
Sure.
Right.
Well, Nico, sabi nga ni Nico, he waited to grow. One of the core tenets that he kept on hammering us is do not focus your game, do not design your game around a mechanic or a theme or even a topic. You design it according to an experience. So the other things, they're just the medium that you use to deliver the experience to players. So let's start with that muna. So what do I want in a Combatron game? Well, actually, it's kind of like slash what Sir Freddie wants, because he's the one who told us that hey, we have hey, do you guys know Combatron? And then after the initial me shouting,
so we all turned into a fangirl.
After the fangirling moment, I said, yeah, I know that. And he laid the specifics.
Sorry, excuse me. You see how manly he said that? Yeah, I know that.
I know
Yeah,
that.
man. Pero inside, yeah. Okay.
Ayun. So, he wanted a micro game. Micro games are games that use probably like what? 9, 8, 16, up to 16 cards. They don't take much. He wants it straightforward combat, which I totally agree on. And he wants it to probably be one-on-one and has to reflect the Combatron universe. So, I flash. So my childhood memories flash back. What is Combatron? Combatron is a comic story about a robot fighting other robots. Well, there's a bit of drama here and there, and a bit of the human touches, like whoa, your pet dog died on episode 2. Died, as in died. Think about it. There's people, there's robots and characters dying on the series, and you're just a kid at the time reading those. So at the end of the game, when you distill it, it's robots fighting robots. Okay, fair enough. I could run with that. And it's a micro game. I could run with that. My first design was a micro game, so I'm not a stranger to working with less, making more out of less. So what best approach? Fighting. So what's the best way to? And then we have to consider now the Filipino people market.
Right.
They're not everyone is very into card games or board games. They don't know priorities, target order, things like that, canceling effects, phases, all that.
Not anymore. They don't.
Yeah, all that nitty-gritty they don't. Like mana burn. What is mana? No joke. I don't want to go there. Those things. So, and they don't have the time. So I want to make the game simple. How can you simplify a fighting game? The simplest fighting game I could think of was rock paper scissors. And rock paper scissors, sure, we can use that. Okay, so that's my first inspiration. And when I was thinking about rock paper scissors, what comes next? Then you enter psychology. You know, Yomi, trying to read your opponents, predict their moves, or go on the offensive, dictate their moves for them.
Correct.
that's where I introduced the mechanic where, you have a bunch of cards and then you try to just select one and then you try to catch your opponent off guard. Now, naisip ko, but when you fight them, parang if you win, if you keep on winning, parang kawawa naman yung kalaban. If you deal damage to them. So, currently, ang design na is deal damage to opponent. Rock, paper, scissors, your way to victory. So, but it's unfair. It feels unfair that if you keep getting beat up. And Combatron wasn't always about total beatdowns. It was about you fighting, then him fighting, and then palakasan kayo until everyone releases their ultimate attacks and they go home, get repaired. So, not only yung catch-up mechanic na whenever an opponent is damaged, he gets more powerful.
Yeah.
So for every damage you get in that game kasi, it adds 1 power to your total attacks next turn. So the more you get hurt, the stronger you become. Actually, it's a viable tactic to get hurt in that game. Okay lang masaktan.
Doon mo kinuha yung hugot eh. Yun yung element ng hugot eh. Very good.
Okay lang masaktan, makakabawi ka rin. Tapos, and then you get the ultimate on your third damage. Parang ang gusto ko kasing experience ng tao is yung combat. I want them to feel fighting. But I don't want the fight to end right away with one dude dealing 4 damage in consecutive turns. Kaya may catch-up mechanic. So the fight becomes trade-offs, damage. And then it all boils down to you catching the opponent on the right timing, dealing that last hit.
Right.
So it feels like fighting talaga. It feels like you're trying to read your opponent's moves and trying to surmount them. By the way, other inspirations, the assists actually came from King of Fighters. They're strikers.
Yeah.
They're originally called strikers, by the way. Yeah. So they come in, they stop the fight. Unless both of them come in, they bump heads and nothing happens.
Right.
So it also serves as a defense maneuver so that you can predict, you can do the attack block thing. But to prevent people from blocking all day, you can only play them once at a time. Another thing, there's a lot of games that took this, but primarily it's Dragon Ball, your ultimate attack when you're about to die.
Yeah.
That's where I took it. So basically that explains the trope that why can't you use your ultimate from the get-go? But because you have to get damage before you get your ultimate. Duh. So all in all, I mashed them all together. Sir Berlin is the real OG. Sir Berlin managed to get really good artists on board, and then the artwork was just so good, and we ended up with the game more or less. The game was actually created since the moment Sir Fred said that hey, we have a game. The game was created in that was Monday, right? I submitted the game on Tuesday. I made the game on Tuesday.
Talaga? Wow.
I submitted it on Wednesday to Sir Fred here. Sir Fred pointed out an error. There was the game was good, but there's something there was too much information at the time. Wednesday night he said, "Why don't we do this?" Thursday it's done.
See? I knew it. I knew it's gonna be done in a week. Talaga. Wow.
The game idea was done in a week. That's it. But everything else, but that's just the easiest part actually. If you think that designing the game is hard, wait until you get to the next parts.
Okay.
Well, that story makes it
It makes it sound easy.
easy.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
It sounds
But
easy,
it's
but
not.
it's not.
It's mind-bogglingly easy.
It's a very long process.
Before that, I designed games for years.
Most game designers will have maybe 10, 20 games that didn't make it before they even have a game that works.
Yeah.
A good game is on top of the corpses of like
I
know.
20, 30
It's
bad games.
correct.
So,
Tama yun. That's true. That's
So
true.
yung mga practice na ginawa nilang mga games, yun actually yung that's what allows these flashes of brilliance to happen.
Yeah.
And
Experience.
ganun talaga eh. You have to have the experience and you have to talagang kailangan nag-tuition ka muna. Time, sweat, tears, blood,
Paper.
a lot of paper, a lot of ink. So yun eh.
Sugat dahil sa cutter.
Oh, sugat talaga. Blood.
Keep getting damages before you can come back with your ultimate, right?
Right.
That story, baka may ibang tao, isipin nila, sobrang dali nito. It's not.
It's the end of the process.
That's the end of the process.
But
This is when the, what do you call it? This is when the Galactic Phoenix finally hits you with,
Yeah.
bam, it hits. Finally.
Yeah.
Damn.
And even yung ganun kabilis, that's not typical. So most of the other games we've done,
Say so. Oh.
medyo matagal yung process, yung babalik-balik. And talagang usually, paminsan yung iba iabot ng siguro taon eh.
Yeah.
Before we, and a lot of them, yung akala namin promising, as after 6 months, I think we have to abandon this concept. It's not working. We can't find that last ingredient to make it work. And then, tapon. Tapon yung 6 months mo na trabaho. Ganun talaga. Nagkataon lang talaga yung sa Combatron eh. At such a, even when I tell Tom, parang, wow, this is the fastest we've actually gone from may initial idea, tapos, we're printed.
Oo.
Diba?
It's-
I know.
it's such a weird experience na, parang, wow, that's like lightning. Parang,
We were thinking from a customer perspective, from a gamer, from a player perspective, we thought this has been in development for years, di ba? We were thinking, ano kaya? We were at home, we were checking it. Tagal na siguro nilang ginagawa to kasi may print out na and sabi ko nga, hindi ako binigyan nung, remember when you were showing the goods? Like there was this bag of things that like the inserts, like I didn't get to get some and I only bought $1. And it's been in development. Siguro ang tagal na nilang ginagawa to. And you're telling me it was conceptualized out of the experience and out of the flashes of insight. You've done this in a week. And we all thought it's been in development for years. So that's how great it looked for us.
Thank you.
For those who are on the receiving end of it. So yeah, man, you deserve more than a pat on the back. Good job.
It's
dude.
it's essentially a love letter for all of us fans of Combatron.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Dude.
we deserve nothing less. We've been waiting for
Definitely.
that closure of that story for so long. And for example, like bike tayo with Ranida gave signs that they're making a game way back in what, 2013, 2015? Like that was 3 years ago, and we still keep on waiting. We're still waiting. I feel that it's time for someone to actually step up and deliver. And that's what, langangatan na ba ko, that's what I feel I have to do. Kasi, alam mo yun,
Correct.
like we fans, literally we're dying off one by one. So we want to see the end. We want to see something good come out of it. Knock on wood.
Brad, yung kaibigan ko, nalibing na eh. Man, totoo. I mean, and just to share with you, we've been doing this page since 2008, I think. And we came together and we thought, the idea is to create a community. And then that's the main reason why we're doing this podcast, or we're doing this page, is to really put the community together.
Yeah.
We're not super professional gamers, we're not super professional anything, but we're pretty good at putting people together and creating this community. That's why the channels are open. We talked to Berlin in the first episode. We talked to Tart, who's a big streamer. We talked to Jika, who's an online bag seller from Marikina, and it's all about the Pinoy design. And now we're talking to you guys, legends of the tabletop community, and we're just putting, this community has to stand
Yes.
on its own because there hasn't been a solid community base, and you're paving the way for it. That's the important part. Sir Fred, my question is this: when somebody comes up to you, and it's a very opportune moment that I stepped in at the right time. You were playing your game, right? And I was observing it kanina. Just to tell you guys, for those who are listening, when I walked in, they were playing this game written with pens, right? At first I thought it was.
cards.
I thought it was like a pen and paper role playing game, and then I thought, no, this can't be a role playing game. This is a card game, but it must be in development because it's written in markers with different colors, and I think it's a Sharpie that they use.
Yeah.
I can't afford a Sharpie. It's one of those tig-piso lang isa.
Right. So they're in my mind they're play testing something. So I hung around, like a little kid, like. I want to act cool, but I want to learn this thing. Like just walking around, just trying to act cool and professional. But I was observing, And then they were telling me that, they're just testing, and then Thomas was really polite and saying, well, we'll end in 2 rounds. I know it's not gonna end in 2 rounds.
No, I made sure it ended in 2 rounds.
It's
You
he won.
Oh, okay.